of coffee and Ciroc. Anybody know? Anybody know? What's up, AJ? Appreciate you checking in. Get a bucket 5 is in here. Everybody's in here to hear from the man with the knowledge of the hoop scene. North Carolina, yep, Orange Kickstart. They all know my drink. All right, so without further ado, we're going to bring in our guy, Andre Gray, one of the top assistant coaches in the state of North Carolina, very well known, knows the scene. Let's bring in Mr. Andre Gray. Kickstart. Gray.
What's good, baby? Y'all hear me?
I thought AJ checked in. I see you, Saquon. I'm doing. Yeah, we can hear you fine.
All right, cool.
How's everything, my brother?
I'm good. I'm the OG in coaching, but I'm a new G on this IG live stuff.
Oh, hey, I know Fred Flintstone. I know.
I'll be like Teddy Riley.
Right. Right. Hey, look. I'm sitting there acting like I'm good at it, but believe me, brother, I'm right behind you. If I didn't have a staff to let me know how to do it, I'd be looking crazy on here. Yes, so, just like I was telling them, man, we've been knowing each other a long time. You're a staple in the game, and it's just one of the good people in the game that people need to know. Very knowledgeable, and whenever I bring a guest on, I don't care how well I know them, I research them. And because I like to know more and, other things we could talk about. And one thing I didn't know, and I told my staff last night, I didn't know about Andre Gray. You actually coached my man. And I hit him up last night. Steve Mims.
Yeah, Mims, that's my guy.
Yeah, I hit him up. I hit him up late last night. I was reading and I said, hold up. That's my guy, Steve. I said, Steve, you play with Andre? He said, yeah, man, that's my dude. Telling him that I said, what's up, man? So I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Steve was born probably 10 years too early. If he came through now, he'd be playing NBA basketball.
Really? So I'm glad you brought that up because actually the prospect I mentioned earlier, Jalen Higgins, he actually trains with Steve every now and then as well. How good was Steve?
I'll tell you what, he had that ball in the rope. And you see how big he is. He's a point guard. He's 6'5", 6'6" point guard. He could shoot. Nothing he couldn't do. He could shoot. He could guard. He could get anywhere he wanted on the floor. He was a dude. He's a dude. It was like I said, it's before all his mixtape stuff was cool, but coaches still kind of frowned upon like making fancy passes and doing too much. So some guys didn't understand this game. But in today's generation, I'm telling you,
really? I gotta give Steve his props.
Yeah, his highlight tape would have been ridiculous.
Really?
And I can't talk about like current recruits on this thing. So, but Steve, I'm telling you, and I don't even know if you're listening. I said to anybody, like he was a dude. He was a dude.
Really? I'm glad you said that. My staff is on here as well. We always give Steve, some crap, but that's my guy. He coaches at my events and trains at my events. So real good guy. So for people that don't know, I know, and I did more research to find out even more about you. Why don't you tell them as a college coach, a little bit of your background in North Carolina on the coaching scene?
Yeah, for my route has been so interesting. I used to call myself a dinosaur, but then now I got old. I can't call myself that because the way I got into the business. So I call myself a unicorn now because I don't
Right.
But I coached every level of basketball pretty much in the state of North Carolina. Coach middle school ball, coach high school ball, coached at private schools, Methodist College, Wingate University, and Gardner-Webb. I coached at state universities, Western Carolina, University of Wilmington, Winston-Salem State, Charlotte, and now Greensboro. I coached at HBCU at Winston-Salem State. I went to HBCU at Fayetteville State. So I've touched so many different platforms. So even though I've been in the state of North Carolina the entire time, my experiences have varied so much. The schools I've has been so different, and I think it helped shape me as a coach. I picked up stuff from everywhere I've been, from every coach I've been on with, or every staff member I've been with. So it's been an unbelievable experience to be able to do it this long.
I don't know quite who introduced me to you, but I remember them telling me, you need to know who Andre Gray is. He knows everybody. I remember that. And I don't know if it was Sid Canty or who, but somebody told me, you need to know who Andre Gray is. And I think the first time we sat down and had a conversation at a game. I could be wrong. I think it was Quentin Henson. Was it Quentin Henson? It was Quentin Henson, right? Okay. Yeah, I remember Quentin Henson. We having a talk, man, and you were a genuine guy, and you kind of told me a lot of the things, you know, about North Carolina hoops and what to look for and so forth, man. So for that, I'm forever indebted to you. You know what I mean? You stayed true the whole time, no matter what school you were at, and that's the one thing that I can appreciate the most. Whether you was at UNC Charlotte or Winston-Salem State, you were the same guy. You know what I mean? And that I appreciate. Now, you're at UNC Greensboro now, right?
Yes, sir.
What about that school, the school, the campus life, the community? What makes that school different from maybe the rest of the schools you've been to?
The school first, it's I don't know, most people probably don't realize this. It's the most diverse Division I school in the state. So no matter what your background is, no matter what you look like, the students typically are comfortable. When we bring kids on campus to visit, everybody's comfortable. The parents, the students, you see so much stuff. It's such a loving atmosphere. It's really student driven. The chancellor is phenomenal. He makes the students have a really good personal experience. That's something to really emphasize there. So they build the new buildings every day around here. It seems like they redone the rec center, they redo the student center, they redo the cafeteria. Everything is so nice for the student experience, and that's the emphasis. As you know, you from like I am, this was a commuter school when we was growing up, and the school has done a phenomenal job of trying to make it on-campus school. So they made everything nicer, so students want to live on campus and make our community bigger. We're up over like 22,000 students now, which is
really,
yeah, and people don't realize that as well.
Really.
Then from a basketball perspective, we don't have football. So we're the show. You don't want to say it, but it's the reality. We're the money maker on campus. So they do stuff that seems small, but that's big in basketball terms. Like we have our own practice facility. And we don't use the word mid-major, so I won't say it on here. In the state, we have our own practice facility. That guy's got 24-hour access to 7 days a week. I've been at schools where I said that to kids and it wasn't true. But here, we actually do have that. The kids get in the gym anytime they want. And it's something like our development piece is huge. We really stress to them during the recruiting process, like if you don't want to get better, you don't want to get in the gym, don't return our calls because you're not going to like it here. Coach crazy about basketball. Our staff is crazy about basketball. So we recruit guys just as crazy about ball. So guys that want to be in the gym, guys that want to get better, guys that want to watch film, is the kind of guys that would do well here. And Coach has done a great job identifying guys, and when they come in, they buy all into our style and things of that nature. So
good stuff. Good stuff. Now y'all had a really good year this year, like 23-9, and had a big win over Georgetown. I think y'all took State to the brink and took Kansas, gave them what they can handle. So pretty good year. What was it about this this year, this team that made them different, that they could step up to such big games?
It was kind of crazy. This team is like, we wasn't happy with the way it ended. We was a little disappointed in the way it ended. Now, we're smart enough to know in college basketball, you win 23 games, you had a pretty good year, but we felt like we stumbled a little down the stretch. We was a little disappointed that the postseason ended the way it did because that didn't give us a chance to kind of right the ship in our eyes. But this group has been phenomenal. One thing a lot of people that actually really follow our program, this was the least number of wins we had in the last 4 years. We won 29 last year, 27 the year before that, 25 before that.
Great group. Got a great group.
Yeah, there's only one. I can't remember if Duke or Carolina. One of them is to have more wins than us over the last 4 years. So we've been doing really good. And that state game, man, breaks my heart. You froze on me, Coach. You still there?
Did I freeze? Was it me or you? Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Oh, it looked like you froze. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, but that state game, like I said, that's a sour subject to us. Felt like we was the better team. but they won the game. So that's part of basketball.
Right. No, that's part of it. But with the group you had some really great players, man. I mean, I know a lot of them, but the practices had to be intense, right?
Yeah, we have some phenomenal kids, and again, I got it's Wes Miller. Like he won't let us bring bad people into the program. Bad people don't like it here. It's part of our culture, and we encourage a competitive environment. Again, we want guys that's competitive. We won't recruit kids that don't play hard, don't compete hard. Like we don't care how skilled you are. If you don't play hard, we ain't going to be no matter what numbers you put up, no matter just what we are, because everything we do is we have purpose for. I remember my first day on the job. First time I saw our guys anyway. It was a pickup day. They pick up in the gym, and I was in there, and maybe the second possession, the loose ball go rolling around half court, and 3 dudes dive for the freaking ball. And I started looking around like, what are these guys doing? And then a couple of seconds later, the guy took a charge. And then it was like, wow, this is a pickup.
Right.
Like people that come watch us practice, it's the first thing they say. Like, and sometimes we'd be like, "God, the guys, man," and the people that come watch us practice go crazy. Like, man, that's every day. Like, yeah, we could have.
So again, I don't know if it's my Wi-Fi or yours. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna turn my. Hold on one sec. I'm gonna turn. I'll tell you that Teddy Riley boy. I'm telling you, we got Babyface and Teddy Riley going on right now. So no, but you got when it comes to when I look at your roster and I think about all the players that you got that are get me recruited, alums, Dickey and Caleb Hunter, and then y'all had Demetrius and the Langley twins and Malik Massey, all of these kids that we know very well. For people that don't really understand, how do you feel the relationships with groups like us is important to you guys for you to know who's who and the events we put on? Do you even pay attention to those or no?
No, of course we do. We try to take pride in recruiting the state. If anybody look at our roster, they probably recognize that. We think we got the thing going in the state. So we really try to put our program out there. It's a growing program, a growing school, but we're not afraid to recruit against anybody. We think we have that good of pride. Some places might have prettier names and prettier things, but if you come to what our program is about, we're put up against anybody. Your platform is phenomenal for us because it allows people like me to not have to put so many miles in my body. As 23 years. And when I began, we'd go around and I had to look at the newspaper. I had a link that had every newspaper in the state. And that's how I figured out who to play. I look up stats from the newspaper link and the game. I jump in my car and go watch them. Platforms like you allow me where I don't have to get in the car and I trust you. Now I'm gonna come watch a kid myself, but you could tell me, hey, it's a kid at XYZ High School, and coming from you first, that's gonna make me go watch him. Now I got to decide if I like him, if I want to take him to my program. But you guys say so much legwork. Personally, I used to, when you guys first started becoming big, not just your platform, I actually like it because I was like, man, like that's for the guys that don't work. Like they're giving them an advantage. Like I have that advantage because I just get in the car every day. But I for the best for the kids. It's not about me. It's about the kids and getting kids opportunities, and that's the best thing about this job. You get kids a chance to get a free education, a chance to play ball and go places they probably would never go. So.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that. A lot of people, they look at D1 coaches, there's a coach, and then, it seems like a glamorous job. And to some degree, I'm sure it is. Like you said, you help people live their dreams and give them scholarships and education. So all of that's great. But I want you to give, so any coaches that's on this line that is inspiring to be a college coach, could you give them some insight on the best part of being a D1 college coach and some of the that's maybe not so glamorous?
The first piece, if you're thinking about doing it for the money, don't do it. One or two guys in the business, period, that makes the money that they're supposed to make, that they value as.
Yeah.
Most, like for
Yeah.
the time amount you put into it, for the amount of sacrifice you got to make to your family and things of that nature, you're not going to make enough. And so if you're in it for the money, don't come. When the young guys ask me, like, when that's interested, I always tell them, you got to be a little crazy. You got to be a little crazy. If you're not crazy, you're not going to do it. If you're a smart and intelligent individual, you can find other professions that's going to pay you a lot better with hours. So I always say, you got to be a little crazy. Like I always talk about my first job. I went to Methodist. I made $2,000 a year. And I say that, and people are like, no, $2,000 a year. I made $200 a month before taxes. And that was my salary for 10 months. And the rest of the summer, the work camps in the summer to make, to eat, and I'll eat oodles and noodles and hot dogs and bouncing checks over Fayetteville just to try to survive.
Right.
That's the so don't do it for the money for sure. The downside is that it's so unpredictable. Your livelihood is based on 21, 22-year-old young men and their families and their girlfriends. So whatever going on with that guy, you have to deal with. So that's very important to know when you're coming in. So that's probably the of it, is the unpredictability. You don't know what these young men are going to do sometimes. You don't know what their girlfriend is going to do. You don't know what their mom and dad, cousin, workout guy, you don't know what they're going to do. So that would probably be the negative. And the administration.
You know, I'm glad you mentioned that. How stressful is it to the whole recruiting process? Like you're jockeying for kids with other schools, and you know at the end of the day you need a certain amount of kids and you need to win a certain amount of games for job security. As a D1 coach, is that stressful?
Again, I'm crazy. Remember, I just had that talk. We talked about being crazy.
Right.
I'm also a little optimist, or eternal optimist, I guess. It never bothers me, and it's one of the reasons why I'm able to stay kind of even keel. I don't get too high, too low ever. Get silly, but I never get really high, real low. That's just my personality type. So I never really felt the pressure. There's a couple of times I've been on staffs that got let go, so you feel the pressure. I have to get something to eat, the way your check gonna come from. But it's
Right.
at the end of the day, it's a, you know, you care about these kids, you give them a good experience. The more you pour into them, the more they tend to pour into you. And you treat people good, you're gonna have some longevity in the business. So I don't really worry about that. I can't lose sleep over stuff I can't control. So
Right. Good stuff. Well, I get asked this all the time. So they got you on the line. I let them ask you, what are some of the things, you know, as a recruiting coach out here, when you're hitting the steps, what are some of the things you look for from recruits? And once you identify a recruit, what are you looking to sustain that? Okay, I'm gonna continue to pursue
him. As an assistant, number one job is to get guys that my head coach can coach. It's not about me, assistant coach. Like it don't matter how good I think they are. If my head coach don't see the same vision for them, ain't no sense to really put coach, because everybody wants under pressure gonna go back to what they're comfortable with. So if it's somebody I'm not comfortable with, here, that's a situation where you know at the end of the day the head coach won't. But first, it's all about the head coach, what the head coach values, what the program values, and then I try to identify that. Personally, this program is built on that as well, so we kind of our things align in that aspect. If somebody don't play hard, I can't fall in love with you. I tell the story all the time when people ask me about my path. My first day on the job at Methodist College, I went to a camp to recruit, and I remember getting so frustrated. There was 5 games going on. What I was watching, just to be totally honest.
Mm-hmm.
And what I was watching to be told. Got back to town. I asked my AD, who is the coach I played for, what should I do to try to recruit players? And his thing to me was, if for whatever reason you don't like a guy, and you can decide whatever your thing is, like you think he runs funny, you think his hair too long, you think his arms too short, whatever your reason for liking him, scratch him off your list. I mean, go and if you find a kid that you think the greatest player ever, scratch him off your list because he's probably too good. So Denver ground, recruit the guys, everybody else, you ain't gonna do a good job recruiting them. And then most of the time, the guys that, like anybody, if you've ever seen a basketball game, you know a real pro when you see one. Now, some guys develop late, but if you go out there, there's 6'9", shooting and handling and dunking, rebounding and play hard, like, he'd probably be a pro. Like, those guys identify. So if you think he's that good, don't even waste time with him at the positions I've been at. So, well, it just kind of depends on the head coach. I've been with guys that value shooting. I've been with guys that value, athleticism. I jokingly say if I ever get me a job, I better hire somebody that like true points because I like the position. Less basketball, I like long dudes that kind of play around. So every boss I ever had frustrated with me because I'm walking the door, some 6 wing fell in love with. So, but it's really up to the head coach, man. You gotta have the head coach's vision for what they see value in basketball.
That's interesting that, so coaches, these kids can understand that it's really the coach's vision, the head coach's vision, and the assistant coaches out to really get that. Now, when it comes to social media, how intricate is that, as far as these highlight videos, or they tag you in it, I'm sure, and those type of things, how much emphasis you put on those social media videos? And not just basketball wise. I also mean as far as a kid's character, like how they carry themselves or things that they post. How important are those things when you're looking at a kid's social media?
Again, I do basketball as a hobby and as a job, so I actually enjoy getting videos. I don't mind when somebody sends me I won't offer a kid if I won't put my job on the line, like video, but I enjoy them. I just structure the highlight video. I love them. I think they're helpful. It helps me see a kid, identify a kid before I go to a game. I know what he looked like. I know it's really important. The biggest thing I find guys and their social media, sometimes they name, and that's the first thing you see. So that's where it kind of hurts guys. Guys need to make sure they use their names when they're on some of those. It help us find them. Because if I hear of a kid or call me about a kid, the first thing I do is try to find social media usually. So if I can't find you, I can't recruit you, right? So use your real name. And when you do a highlight video, and this is my perspective, if I'm not the answer to that, but I want to see what you're supposed to be. So if you're going to send me a text like, Coach, I'm a big time point guard, I want to see some clips of you being a point guard. I don't want to see 25 minutes of you shooting the ball. I want to see you running the teams. I want to see you pick up some passes. So I want to see you're supposed to make you a point guard. If you're supposed to be a shooter, Don't send me a highlight tape of you dunking. Like I want to see you shoot. I want to shoot big shots.
Right.
It got like it's so trying to show you the other stuff they can do. Like most of the time, us college coaches, we have something in particular we're trying to find. So if I'm in need of a point, I'm looking for a shooter, like and vice versa. So that's one thing I always keep in mind. I always tell families that ask me, like, just make the highlight be what you're supposed to be, like, like be what you are. So.
No, the two best things I think that I take away from what you just said is, one, I tell them always use your name. It's the hardest thing to kind of try to find you when you got all these crazy names. We can't find you. And the second thing is to, highlight video of what you do. Now, how important is it? And we're picking your brain. You're one of the best in the biz here. So I'm giving them an opportunity. These are all questions they ask me. So instead of having to hear it from me, they get to hear it from you. How important is it the characteristics and the dynamics of a kid's home, his parents and his family life? How important is that to you when you're recruiting a kid?
I'm sorry, you froze a little. Dynamics of what?
Okay, I was saying, how important is a kid's family dynamics and their parents, their character play into you recruiting a kid?
It goes both ways, the kids and the parents. To be honest, sometimes parents turn us off. And we all go by this basic rule, like nobody's perfect, right? Nobody's in the world is perfect. Like we all have our demons that we have to live. But your problems can't be bigger than your talent. So if you're a high maintenance kid, you better be a high production player. If you're a high
right.
parent, you better be a high production. Your kid better player. So I don't like parents that go out and cheer and scream forward. Like that don't bother people for the most part. But off a lot. One thing I used to be able to do, I'm not when I'm out the area. Can't do it here not so much because pretty much everybody know me now. But I used to go to games in the street clothes, and I used to sit close to the student body, down in the family section, close to the student bodies, because it's amazing the conversations you hear about a person. And I've walked out after games and walked out, didn't speak to kids based on some of the stuff I heard in the stands from their peers and some of the parents around them. So that was one thing I used to always do. Like I don't do it as much here because again I can't hide in North Carolina anymore. But if I get a chance to get to the game before anybody see me and sit in the corner, but I still be looking for that same stuff. Like there's usually there's 100 counties in North Carolina, just for example, and most counties got 4 or 5 high schools. So you're talking about, I don't know how many high schools, 500, 600, 700 high schools in North Carolina. Every one of those schools got a best player. Like every one of them, every school got somebody on their team every game. So what's going to separate you from the other 800 dudes that average a similar number? And a lot of times the divider is what they're doing when they don't have the ball, when they're not playing. Like how they with their coaches, how they interact with their parents' game, how they interact with them off the game. That stuff is separated from a lot of people.
No, I'm so glad you mentioned that, because if any of these kids on the line that's listening that been to my events, I always talk about, and they may not believe me, about how coaches sometimes are incognito and they watch kids and talk to, people in the stands or friends or, those type of things to kind of get a background. They try to get a background on the kid by being a little incognito. I think it happens more than they think it does, and I try to inform them of that. Now you've been a assistant coach all over North Carolina. One of the best in the game. Even by a timeline, you could tell people are saying, hey, Coach Dre, one of the best in the game, so forth. So the obvious question, the elephant in the room is, like, why hasn't this guy gotten his shot as a head coach? Because he's definitely he's been under some of the best coaches. He's one of the best recruiters in the state. Now, my thoughts are, okay, does it have anything to do with the lack of black head coaches, whether it be on every level? Is it just that the right situation for you hasn't been, has been, you've had offers, it just wasn't the right situation for you? Or is it because head coaches in general is a far and few in between type of position and not many come open? And is it just that, the numbers didn't fall your way?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of everything you said. It's not what 353 jobs in the country, Division I level. Right now, to be honest with you, today is to be a Division I head coach. It's just 350 of those. So there's a lot of qualified people out there, just like myself. But one thing one of my strengths is run somebody else's race. I'm not concerned with happen when it's supposed to happen. I just work and do my job, do my part, and eventually the right situation. I'd say to people, I just didn't get fired halfway through year 3 and just check off the box.
Right.
A place where I could have a really good run at it, and I always jokingly say I want to put my name on the court. I want to, when I finish coaching, be able to put my name outside the building or somewhere and be able to go back. I think of everything because I've had some great influence. I've been with some great head coaches. I've been at some phenomenal schools, had some really good success.
Yeah.
It happens, it doesn't. It doesn't. It's not on my time anyway. So now my job is to be the best assistant that UNC Greensboro could be. So.
Yeah, no, good stuff. Let me see it. Let me check my Wi-Fi because every blue moon you pause. I don't want to miss any of this. That helps any, or whether it was mine or yours. But moving along, there's another thing I wanted to ask you about. Jalen Green and Isaiah Todd decided to skip college, and a lot of people are wondering if that's going to change college basketball in any kind of way. What's your thoughts on that?
I don't think so. It was a time when Kobe and Kevin Garnett, like Kobe Bryant didn't play in college. College basketball was fine. He's one of the top 5 players all time. Kevin Garnett, Dwight Howard, there's guys that ain't playing college before this. College basketball is its own little animal anyway. It's gotten now where it's been more the players, has been the face, but traditionally in the school name that carried the way anyway, and a lot of coaches. So I don't think it's going to hurt it at all. It's such a different brand of basketball, the NBA. It attracts a different kind of fan, I think. Students automatically embrace school that and you have natural rivalries because you play each other every year, every couple times every year. So I don't really think it's going to affect it. I actually think it may help so they can stop talking about it. If you think you're ready to go on pro, if I'm a violinist and I decide I want to go play the violin professionally, I can go do it. So a basketball player, you want to go try your chances, have at it. If the guys start making mistakes, the younger guys hopefully will learn they better be listening to people that know what they're talking about before they make those decisions. But a lot of times as people, we don't learn until we get burned, right? So hopefully the guys that's going there, hopefully they have some success. You want them to, because it's all about love and basketball. But if they don't, hopefully some of the guys behind them will kind of see, hey, I need to go and work on my game a little bit somewhere in a good environment.
Right. No, yeah, I can see that. Yeah. Now we have a lot of coaches, whether it be AAU coaches, high school coaches on the line right now. Is there any advice you would give them in what they may want to do if they're looking to land a college job?
You can't get a job if you don't know you want one. I'm sorry, my little attack dog.
It's live, baby. This is what happens.
If people don't know you want one, you ain't gonna get one. So make yourself known. Make it known what you do. If you whatever you're supposed to be marketing yourself as, kind of like the kids. Show people that you can do that. So if you can recruit, you're supposed to be able to get players. Like show people that you can get players. Get them to come to your high school. Get them to come work out for you. Are you supposed to be a skill development guy? Get coaches in the gym, watch your skill workouts. But the number one thing with this business, and you're not going to get jobs if people don't know you. Like nobody going to hire somebody they don't know in this business. It's just the reality of it. No matter how good you're supposed to be at it, no matter how many people you know outside the business, it's impossible almost to get a job without knowing people. You know, if you don't know the coach directly, you're going to need somebody to vouch for you. So getting gyms like this area, like if you want to be a college coach, if you're not going to college practices around you, you don't want to be a college coach. It's just that simple. If you're in Raleigh, college coach, if you're not NC State practices and Central practices and Chapel Hill practices, and like you don't want to be a college coach. You're fooling yourself because it's going to take a certain level of grind to do the job well anyway. So if you're not creative enough to say, hey man, this Saturday morning I can figure out what this college is practicing. If you can't figure that out, you're in trouble in this business anyway. So So that's the biggest thing to me is just find people, just network, talk to people, make them know what your vision or dream is about, that you want to do it. That's number one, and then pursue. But get to know people and try to build sincere relationships. I'm sure you listen to these guys all talk about network. Network is a stupid word. Go build some relationships. Go build some real relationships. If you got real relationships, people want to help you if they know they can.
That's great advice, Coach. Now switching to the kids, I'm always getting asked this question, so I'm gonna ask it from you. For any kid that's out there that his dream is to play college basketball, if a kid's dream is to play college basketball, especially Division I, what kind of advice would you offer him?
I say just don't necessarily get caught up in what level. Just try to work on your game. Try to be the best player that you could be at. And you may not be one player, but it's about basketball players, it's about getting an education, taking out loans or whatever. That's if you really are a Division I player, you really are that good, we're gonna find you. If we don't find you, the NBA guy gonna find you. Don't worry about that. Get in the gym, get better, work on your game, get shots up, work on your control. You can't control what college coaches decide. We don't think you could play at our level. That's fine. We could have a career. I say all the time that one of my best players I ever coached was a D2 player when I was at Wingate. And I've been in some conference. It doesn't matter if you're good enough, you're good enough. And just because a school overlooks you don't mean that that's the end of your career. Maybe you develop some, and maybe you figure out why you're in college, and you get a chance to play for some money after that. So don't worry about the D1 stuff. We control that. You can't control that. You can't control who. You can't make one of us offer you. But you can work on getting strong.
No, that's a great advice because they're always throwing up D1, D1, D1. And I tell them all the time, you need to worry about D2 because D2 kind of hard too, brother. They underestimate D2 a lot. they,
all
you know, they.
Who's bust you up too? Now you better be careful.
Yeah,
It's so it's a it's like
yeah,
I think
yeah.
it's like what I always forget.
You know, before we let you go, Coach, everybody here knows we always end with some type of game of some sort, and we got a little game we want to play with you. Today, we're going to go as you being a coach. You being a coach, we're going to see what you like. We're going to play who you got, Coach. Who you got. All right. This is from a coaching standpoint. And it may be all your opinion. Here we go. Who you got as a coach? Phil Jackson or Pat Riley? Who you got, Coach?
That's a good one. I go with Phil Jackson.
Phil.
Yeah, I go Phil. I like Phil. I think Phil to manage the ego. All the NBA guys got ego now, so that's probably a bad way to say it. But to have the discipline and the confidence in himself to allow his different personalities to coexist and not splinter, I thought that was phenomenal. With Pat, especially with Magic and Jack, they such big personalities that they was able to run the room. And I know Jordan well, but Jordan was so angry, I guess is the word.
Right.
And to have Mike still, I think, make them. I go with Phil Jackson.
Go with Phil Jackson. Go with Phil Jackson. Now, all right, we're gonna go with Phil Jackson. All right, who we got next? Let's see who we got next for Coach Dre. Who you got? We got, let's see. We got Bobby Knight.
Are you still there, Coach?
Lost you. Yeah, I'm here. Here we go. All right, Bobby Knight, Dean Smith. Who we got? Two legends. Two legends.
Well, my old coworker. This is a tough one.
It is. That's a good
It
one.
hurts me to
That's
my
a good
heart.
one.
I go Dean.
Dean.
I go Dean.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right. I mean, you're in the Tar Heel State.
Yeah, I think Dean could have did it any generation. The way he did it would be able to carry through any generation. Knight's antics sometimes probably would have prevented him. Like now, I don't think Knight could coach. I think Dean could coach now. So that's why I go Dean.
That's a great point when you think about personalities. I think Bobby struggled with that transition to the kids that play today. You know, it was hard when he was at Texas Tech to adjust, right? Yeah, I agree with you there. All right, who we got next? We got the Johns, John Chaney or John Thompson?
John Thompson.
John Thompson.
Big
John Thompson.
Again.
Okay.
Yeah, I go Thompson. And I was actually a big tough champion when they had Mark Macon and those guys when I was coming through high school. But John Thompson, I don't know how many people been on Georgetown campus. I do the roll that all black squad out there at Georgetown. That was pretty impressive.
right. That's a good point.
I thought Georgetown was a black school growing up. I didn't know what the campus looked like.
So I wasn't gonna say anything, but I swear to God, I did too. I'm not gonna lie to you. I did.
Did I say that on TV? I don't know if I can say that on TV, but me on live. My bad if I offended anybody.
No,
yeah, but I thought.
No, you. You're
Like
absolutely
the
right. I think when we was
first time I saw that thing, I was like, "This is Georgetown." I was like,
all right, we back. We back. No, yeah, you're absolutely right. I thought the same thing, Coach. I ain't gonna say nothing about it. Here we go. Who we got next? We got Larry Brown or Greg Popovich. Who you rolling with, Coach?
"Oh man, I, I don't know if I can answer this one honestly because practices and stuff. He might get me for that mindset. So I'm saying Larry Brown.
Right,
nobody,
right.
nobody will record, but nah. But both, I don't know if you can go wrong with both those guys. They're both phenomenal basketball minds. Larry
Yeah,
Brown might be
yeah.
the best from a basketball strategic point of view. Popovich, both can do it with the X and O's and do it with relationships. So I don't know if you go wrong with this one.
Yeah, I
If I
agree.
didn't, if anything, Larry Brown be around that practice, I'll go Popovich though. But since I'm pretty sure he's gonna come around practice, I'm going like.
Right, right. All right. Here we go. We got Nolan Richardson and Gary Williams.
Oh, it's an easy one. Now this ain't who gonna go Gary Williams over Nolan Richardson?
Okay, so go with my big man, right?
Yeah, 40 minutes
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah. I love the race.
Hell, man, 40 minutes.
Yeah. No, I agree with you there. I agree with you there. All right, we're gonna get a little into it. We got two more. And this one's gonna be a little more interesting. Let me get Coach back before we introduce this one. It's gonna be a little more interesting, Coach. Let's see where your mind is on this one. This one's gonna be a little thicker. All right, and we're gonna educate the folks out here while we do it. Here we go. We got Casey Jones and Lenny Wilkins first. This is first. Who you got?
They both phenomenal players. Lenny's one of his coaching in NBA basketball. KC had a great run with Boston. All right, Lenny. Like I'll go Lenny. Lenny did it a little longer. Was able to coach different generations. I'll go Lenny.
I can go.
Casey has
Lenny probably.
like,
Yeah.
Casey always has squads. I can't remember him having some bad teams.
Right.
Lenny had some ups.
Yeah. All right. Now we get into the educational part of it, where we teach them a little bit about what we're talking about. Here we go. We got to the left, for those that don't know, Ben Jobe, these are three great HBCU coaches. Ben Jobe now, he's 4 times been to the NCAA tournament with Southern, 5-time SIAC champion, and he has 11 SWAC championships. Now, in the middle, we got Clarence Big House Gaines, Winston-Salem State legend, 828 and 47 record. He had 18 20 win seasons, 8 CIAA championships, a D2 NCAA champion, first HBCU to win an NCAA champion. And to our right, we got John McClendon over at Tennessee State, 3-time NAIA Coach of the Year, 3 consecutive NAIA national championships. He's the first basketball coach ever to win 3 consecutive titles. He's also the first coach from a HBCU, predominantly at the first predominantly white university, as well as, little known fact, he invented the full court press and the 4 corners offense. Now, it's 3 legends right here. Who you got, Coach?
Yeah, and again, you said the history. Most people don't realize the history of McClendon, but I know, and like a lot of people feel like Dave Smith get the credit for this McClendon invented.
Yeah.
So it's hard to argue if without that he added the basketball. Now, Big House was phenomenal to get the HBCU to a national championship, and the bike belt during that time is crazy how those kids down here from Philly. I never know. I like to hear the school day, but just knowing the history of basketball, I would have to go McClendon with, because of things that he brought to the game and how successful other people have made the things that he brought to the game. So I believe McClendon.
Yeah. No, great choice, Coach. I actually doing the research on that, and I was like, wow, man. That's one thing I love about these, that you get to learn a lot. Now, this last one might be a little difficult for you. We're going to see here. All right, might be a little difficult for you to choose, but we're going to put you on the spot. All right, you ready, Coach? You actually got 4 coaches to choose from. We're going to put you on the spot. I actually seen one come up in the comments earlier, so he's watching. I'm not going to tell you who it is, but here we go. We got Buzz Peterson, Larry Hunter, David Smith, and James Remy. Oh, my, all coaches you played for, assisted with. So, Coach, putting you on the spot, one of them watching you right now. I'm not going to tell you who it is. Who was the better coach?
I plead the fifth. No, it was awesome. They all, to be honest with you, they all have given me different things, different pieces of my philosophies now. It's phenomenal for me. He's my first coach. He allowed me to grow. He taught me so much. Work guys out. So he was so instrumental to my life. Will help me. We talked the first guy I worked with who was the first time head coach. So it taught me so much about being different, some of the stresses that come on the first 100 days. He was probably the only job I got that I didn't know the guy before I got it. So he was really important as far as just watching his first 100 days in the job. So that was awesome. Buzz Peterson he's probably one of my biggest influences from the business aspect. He taught me so much about the business of basketball and how the game works. Larry Hunter, it's kind of funny. This board is awesome. Has such different strengths. Larry is ultimate dot your I, cross your T guy. You had to have a why for everything you brought to him. If you didn't have a why, you just didn't say it because he was going to challenge you on why you thought this or that. So they all brought such positive things to my career. I can't pick one. They're all phenomenal. They're all great coaches.
No, Coach, that's a great answer. That that you were able to see each one of them did so much for you. That's one reason I picked it up there. I figured you probably would say that. Give you an opportunity to give them some homage to those guys that paved the way for you to be, the great coach you are. I started to put Wes Miller up there, but that ain't happening because, hey, you with him now. You can't tell him you can't even fill place. That ain't gonna work when you get back to the office, right? So, Coach, as soon as he get back here, we're gonna finish this up. We are going to finish it tonight, Coach. I appreciate you being here.
I told
you. We appreciate you being here, man. You've done a great job with what you do in the North Carolina scene, and been a good friend of mine and influential in, actually getting the recruited success, because you were one of the first ones to extend your arm out, and that I'll forever be indebted. We appreciate you being here, Coach. If you ever need anything from me, please let me know. I'm here for you.
Are you there?
So, did you get me, Coach? We're getting ready to break out of here, Coach.
No, we got to clear up one thing before you go, though.
Hold on, because hold on, you're freezing. Hold on. Here we go. Hold on. Let me get you back on the line. Make sure. All right. What we got to clear up, Coach? Can you hear me?
You with me now?
Yep.
Yep. You kept calling me one of the best. I'm the best. I'm the best around here now. I'm a pound for pound champ. I'm like the Floyd Mayweather.
Hold on. He must. Hold on. He must tell a lie. Hey, Gray. Hey, Gray. You didn't hear. You didn't hear me. Hold on.
What's that?
I said you didn't hear me because IG got a lie detector. I said he must have told a lie. What was it again? Yeah, it ain't gonna let you get it out. You lying. What was it? Tell me one more time.
I'm done. It must be a lie, so I'm not going to say it.
It's a